Hello Moto GP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati manager Davide Tardozzi offered an upbeat update after Marc Márquez's double operation, describing the procedures as necessary and positive for the rider's long-term prospects. The factory is prioritizing a full recovery and believes the surgery removed a physical limiter that had been affecting Marquez since the start of the season. Pecco Bagnaia arrives in Barcelona determined to build on the positives from Le Mans while still visibly frustrated by his crash. He says Ducati found a direction after Jerez that worked at Le Mans, believes the team has solved the feeling that cost him there, and sent a clear, supportive message to Marc Márquez as the factory manages the Spaniard's recovery. Fabio Quartararo arrives in Barcelona buoyed by his best weekend of the season at Le Mans, but he warned that the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya may expose Yamaha's remaining weaknesses. The Frenchman says his confidence has returned and he can attack again, yet he stressed the M1 still lacks grip and overall performance improvements are incremental rather than revolutionary. Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin both insisted Marc Márquez remains a live threat to the 2026 title despite his recent double surgery and enforced absence from Catalunya. Their message: Márquez's past dominance and relentless competitiveness mean he cannot be discounted once fit. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Tardozzi said the operation eliminated a clear, ongoing problem that had been restricting Márquez's performance. The team frames the surgery as corrective rather than experimental, a step intended to restore normal nerve and shoulder function so Márquez can ride without the intermittent weakness that had plagued him. Marc is very happy because with this operation he has freed himself from a burden, from a problem that was clear from the beginning of the season and that limited him. Public reassurance from team management signals confidence in the medical outcome and a desire to calm speculation about long-term decline. Ducati emphasized patience. The priority is a complete, cautious rehabilitation rather than a rushed return. Tardozzi repeated that Márquez must take care of himself and return to the bike in good shape, underlining the team's unwillingness to risk further injury for short-term gain. Conservative recovery timelines are common when nerve irritation has been involved. Returning too quickly risks recurrence or compensatory injuries. The operation targeted a problem that intermittently reduced strength in Márquez's right arm while riding, a limiter that explained the contrast between his exceptional qualifying laps and compromised race durability. Removing the offending hardware and cleaning the area aims to restore consistent control under race loads. If the surgery fully resolves the nerve irritation, Márquez could regain both confidence and the ability to sustain race-pace efforts without sudden loss of strength. Ducati expressed clear confidence that Márquez will return to competitiveness once fully recovered. Tardozzi's tone combined realism about the recovery process with optimism about the rider's future contributions. When he's ready, I think he'll give us a lot of satisfaction. Management optimism helps stabilize the garage and reassures sponsors and stakeholders while the medical timeline plays out. In the immediate term, Ducati must manage without one of its principal riders, relying on Bagnaia, Alex Marquez and satellite teams to gather data and score points. The team's cautious approach to Márquez's return may cost short-term results but aims to protect long-term championship prospects by removing a chronic performance limiter. The trade-off is strategic. Accept a temporary reduction in race weekend firepower to secure a healthier, more reliable lead rider later in the season. Ducati's public update frames the double surgery as a decisive fix for a problem that had been quietly undermining Márquez's season. The next steps are rehabilitation and measured reintroduction to riding. If recovery proceeds as Ducati expects, the operation could mark a turning point that restores Márquez's ability to compete at his previous level. For now, the team's message is clear: health first, competitiveness to follow. Bagnaia says the Jerez test pointed Ducati toward a setup direction that paid off at Le Mans. He expects the team to carry that momentum into Montmello and to be competitive from the start of the weekend. Yes, I think so. After the Jerez test, we found a direction that worked very well at Le Mans. Translating a test direction into race consistency is the immediate engineering challenge. Bagnaia's belief suggests the team validated meaningful gains. Bagnaia highlighted Barcelona's lower grip and different layout, stressing the need for a bike that turns well on entry so the rider can get usable drive on corner exit. He sees Montmello as a circuit that will reveal whether Ducati's Le Mans improvements generalize. Circuits with low grip magnify chassis balance and turn-in precision. A good Barcelona weekend would be a strong sign Ducati's changes are robust. Bagnaia admitted he was still angry after his Le Mans fall and joked about practicing his kicking. He framed the reaction as the response of a rider who felt he had regained form and then lost the chance to fight for the win. I was very angry at Le Mans, and I'm still angry. Visible emotion after a costly DNF is common. The key is whether it fuels constructive focus or distracts from setup work. Bagnaia insisted the Le Mans issue was not a discrete technical failure but a matter of feeling, a setup and perception problem the team believes it has corrected. He's confident the same problem won't recur. Yes, we found it, and it won't happen again, that's for sure. But it wasn't a technical problem, it was a matter of feeling. Fixing rider confidence often requires small mechanical and ergonomic tweaks as much as software or hardware changes. Bagnaia sent a personal message to Marc Márquez after his surgery, underlining Ducati's desire to have him back. "We need you, so I hope he'll be back soon." The comment reinforces a united factory garage and the importance of Marquez's eventual return for Ducati's title hopes. Public solidarity helps maintain morale and signals to rivals that Ducati remains cohesive despite short-term setbacks. Bagnaia arrives in Montmello with renewed belief that Ducati's recent direction can close the gap to Aprilia. But Barcelona will be a decisive test of whether the Le Mans fixes translate across circuits. If the team reproduces the improved turn-in and race stability, Bagnaia should be a contender. If not, the pressure to refine front-end feel and tire management will intensify. Meanwhile, Ducati's support for Marquez remains clear. His recovery and return will be a major factor in the factory's mid-season prospects. Quartararo described Le Mans as a turning point for his mindset rather than a technical breakthrough. After several races of merely surviving, he finally felt able to push the Yamaha to its limits and enjoyed riding at race pace. That psychological reset produced his strongest result of the year and renewed optimism. At Le Mans, from the end of the first lap, I was completely on the limit. Restored confidence can unlock lap time gains quickly, especially for a rider who knows how to extract the last tenths from a package. Despite the improved feeling, Quartararo was clear that Yamaha has not introduced major new hardware. His performance came from finding a way to ride the existing M1 more aggressively, not from a sudden technical leap. He warned that the bike still lacks multiple elements that need addressing. When gains are rider-driven rather than machine-driven, they can be fragile and circuit-dependent. Quartararo singled out grip as Yamaha's principal shortcoming and predicted Barcelona could be tougher for the M1 because the team already struggles even on high-grip tracks. He suggested tire degradation in races might partially mask the deficit, but overall he expects Catalonia to be a more challenging weekend. "I think it's going to be worse for us, because we already have little grip even on tracks with a lot of grip. Barcelona's mix of long corners and heavy braking will magnify chassis and tire issues, making setup and tire management critical." Le Mans highlighted a growing performance gap between Quartararo and other Yamaha riders, which worries the factory. Fabio accepts responsibility for extracting more from the bike but admits the team still needs to find broader performance gains so the package isn't overly reliant on one rider's adaptation. Sustainable progress requires hardware or software improvements that benefit the whole rider group, not just a single pilot's technique. Quartararo does not expect a technical revolution at Catalonia and said he hasn't heard of major parts arriving. His immediate focus is to replicate the riding approach that worked at Le Mans and to manage tire life across the race. He also underlined the human side of the paddock by visiting Marc Márquez to offer support after the Spaniard's surgery. If Yamaha can stabilize the M1's grip window and tire behavior, Quartararo's regained confidence could translate into consistent top 1-0 finishes. Otherwise, gains may be isolated. Quartararo's Le Mans weekend restored belief that he can still push the Yamaha to competitive levels. But his warning about Barcelona is sober. The circuit's demands may expose the M1's remaining weaknesses. The next rounds will show whether Yamaha can convert a rider-led uplift into broader, technical improvements that benefit the whole team. Bezzecchi and Martin reacted to Marquez's Le Mans crash and subsequent operations by refusing to write him off. Both pointed to his extraordinary past form and mental hunger as reasons he could still influence the championship when he returns. "I never rule out Marc from the title." Publicly acknowledging a sidelined rival keeps the focus on performance and avoids complacency in a tight championship. The leaders referenced Marquez's 2025 dominance, clinching the title with races to spare, as evidence of his ability to overturn large deficits. They stressed that a returning Marquez will be super hungry and capable of stringing together results that could dramatically reshape the standings. "If somebody can go from the lowest to the highest again, it's Marc." A rider of Marquez's caliber can compress championship swings quickly, especially on a bike as competitive as the GP26. Marquez's absence risks a large points swing. Missing Catalonia could see him fall substantially down the standings, potentially by more than 100 points if he misses multiple rounds. That gap is severe but not necessarily decisive given his proven ability to win repeatedly when healthy. Championship math matters, but momentum and a returning champion's peak form can offset large point deficits over a season. Alex Marquez and Ducati management urged patience. The immediate priority is Marc's recovery, not speculative timelines. They and other riders emphasize that only once his return date and fitness are clear can the true sporting impact be assessed. "We need to see when he will come back," Alex Marquez said. Conservative medical timelines are prudent when nerve and shoulder surgery are involved. Rushing a comeback risks recurrence and longer absence. If Marquez returns within a few rounds and regains full race sharpness, he could re-enter the title fight as a potent wild card. If recovery takes longer, the championship battle will likely be fought between Aprilia's Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin, with Ducati and others chasing. Teams must balance short-term point collection with long-term rider welfare. The season remains fluid. Fitness, reliability and intra-team dynamics will likely decide the title more than any single early season swing. Bezzecchi and Martin's stance keeps the paddock honest. Marc Márquez remains a potential game-changer. For now, the practical story is recovery and contingency. Ducati must gather points without him, while rivals must guard against complacency. When Marquez returns, the championship narrative could shift again, making the coming rounds crucial for both momentum and medical progress. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your Moto GP news update. And see you next time!